I can't believe I went into a degree of 5 years study without anything. I didn't even study it. And I just want to say to the young people out there, do not just fall into a degree just because I don't know. Anyway,
I think also like you kind of just have to find your way, even though sometimes it takes the longer track. And I think anyway, what I tell myself.
I don't think it was a waste of time, because it really depends on you if you're going to make the best and the most out of what happens. Kia ora, and thanks for joining me today and my guest, Mina Rassam. I'm speaking to her. She is a successful Iraqi lawyer and an immigrant Iraqi. So Mina Rassam has joined me today, and this is part 2 of our episode, finishing our conversation, picking up where we left off in part 1. If you haven't watched part 1, please go back and watch it now, or listen to it now on Spotify, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. If you have found value in part 1, hit the like button now. If you want to do that on YouTube, even subscribe on YouTube. It's free. Tell me more about why you like this episode in the comments. I know I'm asking too much, but this is the only way that I know that you like this, and I should make some more. So subscribe, like, and comment. It takes you about 10 seconds. So thank you so much. If you do like this episode, YouTube will make sure that my video is seen to other people. And so if you like it, if you subscribe, comment, just say I've done it, and I will thank you personally, because that's important. So welcome to the show, Mina. Hi.
Thanks, Mina. Hi. How are you going?
Hi, kia ora. How are you?
I'm great.
That's good. So good to have you back on the show, on the podcast. And, last episode, we talked about your, what you remember of moving from Iraq to New Zealand as an immigrant, as a 9-year-old. Your first impression, how you began your love for ice cream, and why did you move to New Zealand? In this episode, we're going to talk a bit more about the larger, higher perspectives, like what you learned from your experience moving to New Zealand and all these things. So it's more of like a bird's eye view on things. So plenty of wisdom, plenty of meaty stuff. I'm so excited. So thank you so much for making time. And welcome back.
Thank you.
Because last time we had a nice chat about how we keep our culture. Because, so I'm Iraqi too. Yep. Newsflash for people who didn't know. And, it's a culture. It's a completely different culture to New Zealand. Yep. There's a whole new language, a whole new way of doing things, of speaking, of relating. Like, we're known for hospitality, Yep. But I wanted to know, what sort of things that, maybe 3 things that you've kept to help you keep your sense of your Iraqi Arabic culture.
So it's been difficult, obviously, now that I've moved away from home to Sydney, and I guess it's kind of a few things. Is just obviously keeping in touch with my Iraqi friends and culture and family as much as possible, trying to speak Arabic as much as possible where I can. Obviously that's difficult because you start thinking in English, and probably in Sydney also it's a bit easier in the sense that there's so much food. Iraqi restaurants are
not jealous.
Yeah. So I mean, if you wanted to, if you're walking down the road and you wanted Middle Eastern food, it's probably easier. Probably not Iraqi food, more Lebanese, but it's similar. So I also think, as you mentioned as well, like the hospitality thing, that's obviously carried on. And it's a big part of our community and culture and that love of food combined with hospitality. So, I mean, I try to cook as much as possible. I mean, obviously I'm not as good as my mum or anything, but...
Wow. You cook? Amazing.
Yeah, you kind of have to. I live alone, so in an apartment, so nice. I'll make sometimes I'll make probably bamia or something Iraqi,
Oh
and
my
then
gosh, you make bamia. Oh, that's awesome. What a skill. A woman that cooks. That's amazing.
and so I think like when my friends come over, sometimes I'll make something Iraqi because I was already making it, and then I can kind of share that with my non-Iraqi friends, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's fun, and it's I think it's like glimmers of Iraqi things that come out, because it's part of you, it's part of your identity. So
Yeah. It
yeah, how do
is.
you do you
Yeah.
think?
Oh my gosh, I love bamia. And by the way, I have to really probably explain to people what bamia is. Bamia
Yeah.
is okra. I don't know if you've noticed in
Mm,
the some shops, even in the normal supermarket, you can get it's a green. It's called
yeah.
okra, and you've got to like super cook it. So it has to, for me, okra has to be like super, like melting in your mouth, not hard. Of course, you
Mm,
add um, what's the meat?
garlic,
Lamb?
spice.
Do you put lamb meats?
Yeah.
Uh, and some hammoth or some lemon and garlic. And
Yeah.
if it's for me, I'll put like a whole head of garlic because I love garlic.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, so, and some salt. So super simple.
Yeah.
Oh my God, with
Yeah.
some
It
rice.
makes
I
you
really want some now.
something to make, but it's brings you back to your home, and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes
Same.
you just want something comforting, and it's a good
Yeah.
festival for that.
It's true
Yeah.
way. Because I don't know if I've even made bamia before.
You have it?
I don't know. I find it hard. Oh, I suppose it should be easy, but I kind of made biryani. So
Oh, yeah, that's
chicken
fun.
biryani. It's actually
Yeah.
easy. It's just a lot of tasks.
Yeah, it's a lot of tasks, and I'm very like I just want to make something quick.
I know. It's just so yum. Like I've made a lamb biryani once, so
Oh,
that was like with big meat pieces.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, I really want to make some now. And I'm a bit like you. Like, I love to host. I think it's important to host and to be because us Iraqis were so hospitable, and yeah. If anyone is listening now and they're Iraqi, like, yeah, we like have people over all the time, and we
Mm.
love to feed them. I loved feeding people, so I'm sure you do the same.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's also part of it. Like when you have people over, you're always worried that you haven't made enough food, and that's definitely passed down
Yeah,
away, and not like when I'm not with the Iraqi people, I always think, oh my gosh, have I made enough? And so I'll just run out to the supermarket and just get a few more things just in
yeah,
case.
yeah.
Yeah.
I exactly. And do you know what? I think so. Like in terms of like keeping our culture alive, food is really important, and hospitality is key. Um, and keep staying in connection with your family and friends. So that's about two things.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
right.
for me, if I want to add a third one,
Mm.
I think I'd really have to consciously find little ways to speak Arabic.
Yeah.
It's so hard because like you go to work and it's English everywhere, and I think that really made me think more um, about keeping the culture alive when I
Mhm.
look at young people who are Arabic
Yeah.
and think how are they going to keep their culture. So it's a hard one, but yeah, it's like finding little ways to like just slip
Mm.
in and even just use Duolingo.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
It's definitely a conscious, like you have to consciously work on it.
yeah,
And things like Netflix is actually a really good way to
yeah,
just keep it up because there are a lot of Arabic shows on Netflix with
yeah.
obviously you watch it with English subtitles. So if there's something you can't
Mm,
kind of pick up, you can kind of read. So it's actually a really good way to keep your comprehension and
mm.
yeah, it's definitely you are right though. It's definitely a conscious, an active step you have to take
Exactly.
to maintain it.
Exactly. And yeah, with anything that you want to do in life, you
Mm.
must put effort and intention. And you definitely put a lot of effort and intention in finding your career as a lawyer. Because last
Mm.
episode we kind of spoke about the early years of being in New Zealand. This time around, you're already in university, past university, and moved on to lots of different adventures and stints to be able to finally land in law, which is a great career. And it's so, fascinating to me. But, I want to talk about the steps that you took to find your way. How did you find your way? Swim through the waves to land where you are. Like, what sort of things, principles you applied to get where you are?
And I started off doing a biomedical science degree, and I finished that, but it wasn't quite what I expected. I liked biology at school, and then when you're doing that solely as your as the only thing, kind of at school you had a broad range of subjects, and then at uni you're more specialised. So you start to think, is this something I want to do in my life? So after biomed, I took a year off and I became a youth worker. It was, a really great experience just for a year. Got a lot of kind of travel around New Zealand and into different communities, including Maori communities in the north. So it was very eye-opening, and it gave me a chance just to breathe and take some time out to really think about what I really enjoy and what I really like doing. And actually also it meant, and I did realise I was interested in humanities subjects more, and writing and reading, and I'm, I really enjoy reading, and not good at maths at all.
Me too.
And then, and I also met, so my boss at the time, she was amazing, and really had a sense of justice, and I think I saw myself in that as well. And I think that's what led me. She used to be a lawyer, and then she kind of took a different path. But I kind of thought, I think a law degree would really align with my skills and interests. And although, of course, I wasn't 100% sure at the time, I think I just took the jump, and I decided that would be what I would be doing. And it was intellectually challenging enough as well that it kept me on my feet. Like I was interested in the subject matters that we were studying, but also I was working hard, and that's kind of who I am. Like I like something that challenges me, I think. And so that, it really began with I mean, obviously there were times when I was worried, am I going to get through this? At the time also I didn't know any lawyers, and I think that's why I went into the biomed path. But especially because a lot of, in the Iraqi community, law isn't something that is done. We're more kind of science, engineering, medicine and pharmacy kind of subjects. So laws are very unfamiliar, topic or field of work for our community. Now more and more people are doing it, I think. So at the time, I kind of just had no idea, apart from that one lady who wasn't even working anymore that I'd met. It was just something that was very far away. And even when I went into law, there were many things that I didn't realize were meant to do, like internships and and so I guess I would actually encourage anyone who was interested in anything, not just law, like seek out people who have already done it, because there's always going to be somebody, and that is a good way to understand what's required and how you can actually do well and succeed. So I think sometimes the unfamiliar is the issue of not finishing something. It's not that it's not that you're bad at something. It's because it's hard and unfamiliar. And I think with enough systems, people can succeed.
Yeah.
And I think I made a lot of good friends at law school. Really good friends who I still keep in touch with. So I think that's definitely, and people who had law as their second degree, I think that's what helped. They'd already done a career, and one of my friends was in the Olympics and was training the Chinese Olympic team, and then kind of went into law. And a lot of friends were similar in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, totally, because I resonate with you as well, because I've had a change in careers, so I had to I think I just fell in pharmacy. So I started with pharmacy, and then I moved to media, because pharmacy is what every other Iraqi person needs to do.
Mhm.
And I don't know why there's a love for this profession in our culture, but I don't know. It is what it is. So I kind of started with the sciences, and I didn't do any sort of background check whatsoever. I was actually
Yeah,
think about it over now. Oh my gosh,
that's true.
I can't believe I went into a degree of five
Yeah.
years study without anything. I didn't even study it. I got like, and I just want to say to the young people out there, do not just fall into a degree just because I don't know. Anyway,
Though. I think I think also like you kind of just have to find your way, even though sometimes it takes the longer track. And I think anyway, what I tell myself.
yeah. I don't think it was a waste of time, because it really depends on you if
Yeah.
you're going to make the best and the most out of what happens. So even if I didn't want to go into pharmacy, I did work and I did grow as a person, and it helped me to become more professional and actually have that sense of professionalism. Professionalism is a big word, like that helped me to propel me towards that next job, which needed to be professional. And I think generally I'm more of a serious person. So pharmacy enhanced the whole seriousness, but media really helped me to be chilled and down to earth and chilled, relaxed, and so that's okay. That's so it's everything has a benefit, and so I'm happy that it happened how it happened. If I do go back, I would do a lot more research, and I would also just jump out and say no to parents. No, just kidding. I mean, I wasn't forced. I stepped into it, and I think you weren't forced or anything.
I chose
So
I chose both careers.
yeah,
And yeah, I mean, while I would say to my old self, like maybe do a little bit more, you know, soul searching about what you're good at and what you're, um, what you're really good at, and probably just do things first, like rather than jumping into uni straight away, like travel more and work a bit, and just have fun a bit, and then kind of when you've known yourself well enough and what
yeah.
you think is more suitable, then kind of start a uni degree. But yeah, I think everything kind of works out. Yeah, and you kind of
Yeah.
once you know yourself a bit more, you don't like worry as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's your experience.
I love that, the whole telling your young, the young 16-year-old self, because what you said was very profound, and you have to really know who you are. I suppose you cannot know someone to be able to marry them. You have to know them very well, I suppose. You only know so much, right? Like
Yeah.
you have to know them, but it's the same for you. If you're not going to know who you are, you're even more important than anything else. So for me, I actually do recommend for my 16-year-old self to look back and just study who I am. Go and do a personality test. Ask your friends, what am I like? What am I good at?
Yeah.
I love that. I love when people say to me, "Man, Mina, you're so good at this." I love it. Hey,
Yeah. And I think, I'm sure you have blunt enough friends to tell you what you're not good at as well, and what
yeah,
how they see you from their perspective. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think also it comes with experience and time. Like I don't think anyone should rush either in terms of finding their career or figuring it out. I lived in a couple. I lived in Wellington and I lived in Dublin and
yeah,
a few places where that helped kind of help me grow and
yeah.
go, okay, actually, I think I like. So I'm in litigation at the moment, and there were many times when I didn't know what field of law I wanted to do, and I started off in a graduate rotation that was really good because it gave me an opportunity to kind of see. So we rotated around 4 different departments, and because you're kind of exposed to more, you see more of what you like this and you don't like that, and somehow I fell into litigation at one of the law firms I was working in Wellington.
Yeah.
And from that, like, I never thought going into law school I'd be in litigation, which is kind of disputes work. And now, then when I moved to Sydney, I ended up working in a law firm that was doing a lot of regulatory kind of work for the regulators, which regulate the banking and finance industry. So then you develop kind of and it's very much like, big cases that take years. And so it's kind of like when you first started doing something, you never thought this was going to end up like this, but somehow the world takes you there, and your skills take you there as well, and your interests, whether or not you realize it. And so, yeah, and I think currently what I'm doing, I just love, and it's really interesting, and I guess I'd never thought that I would be doing that, 10 years ago or 16 years ago when I was,
Really?
my stuff. Yeah, no, I didn't even know it existed. And actually, that was part of my reasoning for moving to Sydney as well. Like, I didn't, I think in New Zealand it's a bit smaller, so there's less opportunity for that kind of work. Whereas here in Australia, there was a banking and finance kind of Royal Commission that happened just before I arrived. And so from that, a lot of work came out of it. And from that, I fell into it. And now, really, really interesting kind of stuff. And I'm in one of the biggest kind of cases at the moment, just taken years. And, yeah, it's still going, and learned a lot of skills. Yeah.
So you must be super skilled. What do you think is necessary to be a good lawyer that you have right now, that you've shown at your job?
I'm a good lawyer. Oh gosh, I wouldn't know. No. I think I see what being a good lawyer looks like from other people. Like, for example, my from the other lawyers I work with, and that being very organized, speaking in a really honest and you need to understand what the client wants and give them that, but also obviously being objective and honest and empathetic. I think in litigation as well, it's a very sensitive area where there's a lot of kind of emotions involved sometimes. I mean, I work in a different sense in that it's big kind of organizations, but sometimes you work on smaller matters and people's companies and livelihoods. So disputes become bigger, and then people do each other essentially. But yeah, I think you have to be quite sensitive as well to people's situations, and and just inform them of every step. I think it's very important to keep them informed. I think that's kind of some of the things.
So thank you. Before we go on to our last question, I just want to remind you listening, thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you have found value in it, please like this video on YouTube if you're watching it. If you are on Spotify or Apple Podcast, thank you for listening over here. Please leave us a review, because that way the episodes are recommended to more people. We want to reach out to more. I have a goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So how about you help me do that? Click the subscribe button and let me know that you've done it so I can say thank you personally. The more people that like videos on YouTube, the more YouTube shows it to more people, and that's a win-win because now you've watched it, you enjoyed it, and then other people can enjoy it. And also, if you like it and subscribe, I know that I'm going in the right direction, so I make more videos. So it's a win-win situation. So if you found value, hit the subscribe button and the like button. So thank you so much for doing that. And for telling me that you've done it so I can thank you personally. Mina Rassam, final question for you. You've lived in New Zealand for quite a while. You've traveled to so many places, but now you're kind of residing in Sydney.
Yes.
What's the difference between Sydney and New Zealand? And for those people like thinking, should I be moving to Sydney? Should I be working there? Or people are already in Sydney maybe going, I wonder if I've made the right decision moving to Sydney. Everyone is different.
Yeah, everyone's different. Yeah.
Like, are you happy that you moved?
I'm very happy I moved. I love it here. It's definitely my home. I obviously miss New Zealand, especially the people in New Zealand and my family and stuff. But yeah, definitely, I just love. I'm just looking outside because it's sunny, and I'm like, I love this warm weather. And in terms of career perspective, obviously, like I said, the opportunities I have here in terms of my career are very specific and something I wouldn't get to this extent in New Zealand. Obviously, that's different for everyone. I love traveling and I love living in different places as well. And I think it's good for growth and development. And also, I enjoy kind of exploring and like finding different things to do and like finding different cafes and restaurants and working out how to get somewhere, even though you get lost 20 times. But
yeah, that's key. Yeah. It's so nice, when you find your way back.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I would definitely encourage it. Obviously, talk to people who are already here, and I don't mean just in Sydney, wherever you want to kind of travel or move to. It's very specific to each person, but yeah, I definitely encourage it. It's fun. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show on second time around and for making time. Kia ora, and thank you. And shukran jazilan in Arabic. Thank you so much. And I hope that you have a lovely rest of your weekend, because it's a weekend now. Enjoy that sunny day.
Thanks, Mina, for having me. And if you'd like, I will make sure I subscribe.
That's right. Get all your friends to. No, I'm kidding. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Mina Amso podcast. You're a legend. Thank you for helping me reach more people, reach more subscribers, because that's what's the point about. Like I want to reach more people. I mean, I'm expensive, progressive. Let's do this. So thank you. Until next week. See ya. Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode. If you liked it, would you please share it with a friend? If you enjoyed it so much, would you please leave us a review and a rating on Apple Podcasts, because that would really help get the message out. Until next week, haerira.